I don't think it's going to be Verse. I like Tyrion Arnold, kind of hoping that he's a Green Bay Packer. Like Chop Robinson, but he's not going to be the first pass rusher. So I'm just not going to overthink it. Didn't overthink it, and I just took Dallas Turner today over at BetMGM -125. First defensive player drafted. Only concern would be Atlanta trading out of that pick. But I don't think Atlanta could go offense. Even if you want another weapon for Kirk, like a slot wide receiver, I think you could get that guy in the second or third round. So I think Dallas Turner.
And you don't think there's going to be anyone that takes a defender before Atlanta?
No, I really don't. I think it's, looking at these mock drafts today, I don't think there's any way that J.J. McCarthy really is the second overall pick, but more and more people are coming out with that. So Washington today has Jaden Daniels, they have Drake May, and they have J.J. McCarthy all in town. Mm-hmm. I was traveling around trying to find where they were all eating lunch, but I couldn't find them. So
all here?
Yeah.
They're all here right now?
Yeah, they all did their visit. They all did their visit this
Together?
week. Yeah, just all at different times, I believe, but all here this week. And so I think number 1 overall, Caleb. Number 2 overall, I'm going to stick with Jaden Daniels. Number 3, I'm going to stick with Drake May. Number 4, I think it's going to be Marvin Harrison. I just think that that's too good for the Cardinals.
You think Arizona will just stay away from trading back?
Why? Okay, you have a lot of needs if you're Arizona, especially in that division.
He could be the number 1 wide receiver in the NFL in 3 years, though.
He could be the number 1 wide receiver by next year.
Yeah.
I really think so. And I don't think there's any chance that Neighbors is going to go before him. I don't think Rome's going to go before him. So I think it goes quarterback. I think it goes Marvin Harrison. And then I think it goes quarterback, and then Minnesota moves up for J.J. McCarthy, or Denver moves up for their quarterback, and then it goes Marvin Harrison to the Chargers. Saw a mock today where Harrison went to the Chargers. And I know it's Harbaugh, and he probably wants to go with the tackle, and he wants to run the football. But I don't know, man. Like, if Marvin Harrison's sitting there, you think he's going to pass up on that? They don't have a number 1 wide receiver right now for Justin Herbert. You need someone. So, I don't think anybody goes before Dallas Turner, and I think Atlanta sits right there. So I think that that's the way to go if you're doing anything with the defensive players. Other than that, I haven't really done anything because with the corners, I know a lot of people like Tyrion Arnold. I know there's a lot of people that do like Mitchell. And then I wouldn't even be shocked if Cooper DeJean was the first defensive back taken. It just depends on the fit, the defensive scheme. Because he could play on the outside. There are people that are saying that he could play on the inside. And then there are also people that are saying that Cooper could play safety, too. And that wouldn't really shock me. So,
have you done anything in the NFL draft yet, Peach?
I've not.
It feels like a weird year.
It does.
Like I usually at least have a few bets by now.
Yeah.
A week out.
Ryan's so plugged in that he's able to get early numbers. Me, I kind of just take in all the information, and I don't mind waiting.
Getting some bad numbers.
Yeah, and getting some bad numbers. So I pick and choose my spots.
You don't think there's any chance that a corner would actually be the first defensive player taken, do you?
No. I think it's going to be a pass
Would you
rusher.
Go with Dallas Turner?
That would be my guess.
And
yeah.
I actually like -125.
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to. I think Trace Jackson-Davis on the Warriors side of things, he's going to get the start and get an opportunity to see how he can do against Sabonis. But it wouldn't surprise me if Sabonis is able to put him in a little bit of foul trouble maybe early in the game if Kevon Looney gets dusted off pretty quickly. And then it sort of looks like it used to. And where Looney was the second best player for the Warriors in that series that the Warriors won in 7 a year ago. I view TJD on the Warriors side, Podziemski, and even Jonathan Kuminga as big question marks as to how they handle the moment. And the reason I put Kuminga in there, even though he's been a huge contributor for the Warriors in the second half of the season, is because he has been banged up. He got banged up on the Warriors' late March road trip and was out of the lineup, and they put Trace Jackson-Davis into the starting lineup with Draymond Green, and it really solidified the Warriors' defense. So Kuminga was set to be coming off the bench. He comes off the injury, has one good game, one bad game, then he gets hurt again. And it comes back and plays in basically what was a practice game on Sunday. He didn't play a lot, as you mentioned last year. The Kings did play him off the court in that first-round series. I think they'd like to believe they can get the Kuminga they got at the end of January, February, and March before his first injury, but I don't think it's necessarily a sure thing because he's been in and out of that starting lineup now, and he's almost trying to get adjusted to a new role. So the young players for the Warriors, I think, are all big question marks, as big a part of the positive success that the Warriors have had in the second half. On the Sacramento side, it really is interesting because Malik Monk was probably their second best player against the Warriors in last year's playoff series. But the Kings are much better defensively, and I think you could make the case they're better equipped to deal with Stephen Curry with Keon Ellis's emergence and Mitchell being maybe more in the fold.
So I think I'm getting older and I don't want to be pessimistic anymore. It's just like, is genuinely part of it. But I would say two things specifically. One, when Joel has played this year, they are the best version of a Joel team that we have seen. I think numbers show that. I think they're 31-8, but also they won handily. Like they look really good when he played. I think the second thing is normally when they go into the playoffs and he gets hurt, it's a lot closer to the playoffs. So when he comes back, there's this sort of like you're getting 60% of him and you just sort of know how it's going to go in your mind. But this time he got hurt like 2.5, 3 months ago. And he was out the entire amount of time. They said 6 to 8 weeks. He was out for more than 8 weeks. And he came back and he looked good. So I think, it's not optimal to be in the play-in, obviously. But I think the reality is that you look at them as a 46 or 47 wins, whatever it was, 47-win team. That's not really what they are. I think if Joel plays 60 or 65 games, they're probably a 55-win team or 54-win team, and they're the second seed and a clear second seed. I think they're a clear, Boston's probably minus 150 and the Sixers are probably plus 250 to win the East, something like that. So I think that's genuinely what we're dealing with. Now they've been favorites going into the playoffs before, but they've always had a giant question mark aside from Joel. Giant question mark Ben, giant question mark Harden in the playoffs. There's no giant question mark aside from him. It's just him. So I'm sort of at peace with he'll either play well enough for them to win or he won't. But at least I won't have to worry about James Harden disappearing in a deciding game. I want to put my head through a wall.
Kings +3.
Love it.
Keon Ellis, 3 made threes. I told you about what the Warriors want to do.
Where'd he go to school?
He went to Alabama. Alabama. De'Aaron Fox over 28.5 points. Steph Curry over 25 points in every single game in the series against the Kings last year. He had 25 every night. And then Klay Thompson to score 15 is plus 1,500.
Well, I like that a lot. Klay to score 15?
Klay to score 15, Steph to score 25. De'Aaron to have 29, over 28.5. That's his regular number.
I love De'Aaron in this game.
Me too. Keon Ellis, 3 made threes. And
that's going to be the one.
That's the big one. And then Kings +3, and that's 15-1.
I like it. I actually love it.
So do I.
I love it. Klay scares me a little bit just because anytime I play Klay props, he lets me down. I think Steph's going to go off.
He had a huge series, though, against the Warriors.
He's been awesome.
21-21. 13 is a bad one. 26-25, 22-16. So only one game did he not hit that in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, there's only one future bet I've made so far, and I'll certainly add as the portal develops. I'm kind of waiting on coaches that have a lot of roster spots and kind of pick off good prices when they start to get some quality commits. But the one I've already bet so far is Gonzaga, and I know some people are probably going to roll their eyes as a team that hasn't won a title yet, but they've made 2 Final Fours under Mark Few, and they look to me the most intact, kind of returning top 15-ish quality team. I think Graham Ike is going to be back there. Their backcourt of Nembhard and Nolan Hickman looks like they're going to be back too. And we saw how well they played late in the year. They rolled St. Mary's at St. Mary's. They rolled San Francisco. They beat the crap out of McNeese State in the tournament. And I know Purdue got them in the NCAA tournament, but I think we saw the upside. And the thing they were missing was some wing shooting. And that's what they get next year. Steele Venters, the Eastern Washington transfer who missed this whole year with a torn ACL, he's going to be back, big-time sniper on the wing. You fit him in with what they've already got there with Hickman, with Nembhard, with Ike. They also got a transfer from Pepperdine, Michael Ajayi, who should help fill the Anton Watson departure, kind of that versatile forward that can play inside or out. I really like the pieces that are developing there for Gonzaga, and they probably still have another spot or two to go after a third ball handler. That was always the thing that I kind of was skeptical about them this year. Hickman and Nemhard to play like all 40 minutes. But I think they'll find another one in the portal. You add that to what they've already got, and Venters getting healthy. Gonzaga down around 25, 30-1, depending on where you look. I think that's a worthy play because I think they'll be in the top 5 like all of next year.